evening, everyone, and welcome to this new edition of Meet the Press. I'm David Gregory, and today we'll be discussing the Watergate Scandal with President Richard Nixon and two reporters, Carl Bernstein and Bob Woodward. First, earlier today, I met with President Nixon and had an interview with him one-on-one. First, let's watch that. Mr. President, good to see you.
You too.
Thank you, President Nixon, for having this interview with me today. I know this is a very hectic time in the middle of your presidential term.
Oh, thank you for having me.
All right, so let's get down to it. Watergate. Were you involved in what happened with those 5 men being arrested after being found tampering in one of the offices?
No, I was not.
So those men were not linked to your campaign and not linked to your attempt to get reelected?
No, those men were not associated with my campaign. It was not an attempt to get reelected either.
So others have been saying that that is not true and that these men were hired by you to break in and do this. They were found with large amounts of money in their pockets while they were arrested, thousands of dollars, in fact, per person. And that has nothing to do with anything that you might have been involved in or in charge of?
Look, like I said, it had nothing to do with me.
So you had nothing to do. Men, Howard Hunt from the CIA and Gordon Liddy from the FBI, both former officers of both agencies, have been directly linked to your White House correspondence. And are you saying that you have no idea why they would do this break-in, even though they were working for you in your administration?
Look, I never sent those men to break into the Watergate complex. It wasn't this big elaborate scheme to get me reelected.
What you're saying is that you got elected fairly, that you did not have anything to do with this scandal, that there's no part of you in any of this, even though all the people that have been connected to the Watergate scandal and to all of the scandals that have been going on have been directly linked to you.
Look, even with the accusations, why would I need these scandals and these cover-ups when I can just get reelected on my own?
Are you just lying about this, or are you lying about everything that's been going on?
Lying about everything. What am I lying about?
Well, you've so far said that you did not pay those men that went into Watergate.
Which I didn't.
Well, others would believe differently. You've said that you are not a part of this at all, even though everyone that's involved has been directly linked to you. So what do you have to say about that?
Look, this is getting completely blown out of proportions.
What do you have to say about the possible impeachment that has been coming towards you for this time?
If I get impeached, it'll be completely off of rumors. I don't deserve to be convicted. I had nothing to do with this.
Well, I might be one of the people that are on the fence as to whether or not I believe in this or not, but I will not get my own views in the way of good journalism. So thank you for your time. Thank you for coming here today. I know that you're very busy as the president with everything that's been going on. So thank you very much, and have a good day.
Thank you for your time.
As you can see there in that interview, President Nixon did get a little hostile. Obviously, some of the things that were brought up made him a little bit emotional. But I'm joined here now by my two correspondents. Good evening to you both.
Good evening. Hello.
So what do you have to say about President Nixon's constant denial of all the claims that I made against him, especially to start off about how he wasn't involved in the Watergate scandal at all?
Although he denies everything, notes shown, police sources gave evidence that men came from Miami and were wearing surgical gloves and carried thousands of dollars in cash, so it was very skeptical.
So do you think those thousands of dollars in cash were money that he used to pay them to break into the Watergate complex?
I definitely do. Mm-hmm. And it was a very professional type operation, so something that would be run by him.
Okay.
So back in 1972, we reported that a man who was found to be a burglar was indeed on the payroll of President Nixon's White House administration, proving that he definitely was involved in the financing of the operation at Watergate.
It does seem to make sense that he would be involved. So what do you think about the possible impeachment of President Nixon and the possibility of him no longer being president after being voted out of office?
Well, after some of our stories had been published, it was reported that the next day, Nixon and his chief of staff privately discussed how to get the FBI to stop investigating. So clearly, he's trying to interfere with the FBI investigation, which is very unprofessional and illegal, and clearly there's something shady going on. So the president should not be in these kind of dealings. I think he should be impeached.
Yeah, even though he did get voted in, I think if the public knew about all these accusations and that they are true, I don't think he would be voted.
So, do you think that had it not been for all of these scandals and all this political corruption that Nixon has gone through to get reelected, do you think, as he said, he would have been able to get reelected had it not been for all of these scandals?
Yes, I do strongly believe that he would have been reelected and perfectly back into office, but with the recent scandal that just came up, I think he jeopardized his political career for good.
Okay. And do you also believe that what do you think would have been the consequence had these scandals been found out sooner rather than as of now when he is already back into office?
I think he wouldn't have gotten the votes of the people. I don't think he would have been elected at all.
So too much speculation for people to feel comfortable voting for him.
Even if these speculations aren't true, which I strongly believe they are, I think there would have been too much commotion and talk of what's going on that he would have had enough votes.
Would have lost voter support. Yeah, I agree with that. So, Woodward, do you, who have been your sources, and who have been, well, both of your sources, obviously, that have helped you come to all of these realizations about Nixon and to find out about all the scandals as deep as you have, which is far greater than any other?
Yes, well, only 3 days after the break-in on June 20th was my first meetup with an official who I can assure you is very trusted. Unfortunately, I cannot release his name because it is confidential, and as I said, he's a high-ranking official in the government, but he definitely has connections, and he has been a very reliable source of information continuously throughout these findings.
Okay. So what else can you tell us about other members of the gentlemen that were arrested at the Watergate scandal?
Well, I can tell you that Howard Hunt and Gordon Liddy, who were employees under the Nixon White House, were indicted for guiding the burglars inside Watergate from across the street at a hotel using walkie-talkies. And these men have recently been convicted of conspiracy, burglary, and wiretapping, and clearly this connects the incidents at Watergate directly to Nixon and his staff.
All right, and now we'll be going to a reenactment of the burglary at Watergate, just to show you exactly what the situation was at that time, and to show you how the burglary took place and how those felons were brought to justice. thank you both for coming today, and
Thank you.
it's been an honor. That'll do it for tonight at Meet the Press. Thank you for watching, and see you tomorrow.